Hey, Namdarian here. Before we get into it, for those who were very keen to try and listen to me on radio last week, guess what? It was pushed back to this week. So I'm going to be live on Triple J this Sunday in Australia. So if you're overseas, look up Triple J. It's going to be 9 p.m. Melbourne time. So Google that in your own time, figure it out. Use your big human brain. Google that shit and put it in your calendar, and we'll be talking about dating and pets. So I often see pets as a great way to often teach people about relationships. So if you're interested in that, we're going to be talking more about that live on the radio, because my name's Sharam and I'm on the radio. Oh boy, or at least I'd like to be more often. I am occasionally, but yeah. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to deal with other people's insecurities, and more specifically, how to deal with criticism from other people. Because, look, if you are growing, you are going to deal with other people's criticism. And as always, we are going to talk about this through the platform and avenue of emotional healing. Hi, if you are new to this channel. Welcome, if you are old to this channel, welcome back. But I sort of want to look at the idea of criticism from other people as, first of all, as a blessing. Because I would say that the only way to deal with criticism from other people, like if you don't want criticism at all, is to be small. And if you're going to be small, you're still going to probably get criticism from other people, because they're going to be like, well, you're not living your best life. Why don't you do things, you know? And if you're going to cut out everyone entirely because you're trying to have no criticism in life, well, good on you. So criticism comes from often people who love us. Criticism comes from people who either don't love us because they are your growth, your success is triggering criticism within themselves. So they criticize you because they're actually criticizing themselves. Criticism comes from people who really just want the best for you, but they're afraid of what you're doing. So I want to look at criticism through the avenue of emotional healing now as a platform of healing within oneself, and to sort of look at that, hey, sometimes it's going to happen, and sometimes it's a blessing. So if you are getting criticism from other people, congratulations, you are alive. You did it. You're not dead. So good work. But criticism is interesting, because when you look at it through emotional healing, it starts to become very obvious. Are they criticizing you, or are they criticizing themselves? Now, often when I work with people, they often struggle with criticism. Someone might struggle with criticism from a particular person from just a particular genre of people. For example, if a friend criticizes them, they're like, fuck off, I don't care. Or they might be like, thank you, I appreciate your advice. If a family member criticizes them, they might shut down emotionally. If a work colleague criticizes them, they might shut down emotionally. So criticism isn't necessarily the issue. It's how we understand criticism and how we react to criticism. So it's very particularly interesting to see, I find really interesting to see between particular kinds of people, what sort of criticism triggers them to either go into like a rage spiral or a self-depreciation spiral or a grief spiral or some form of spiral. But to also see what forms of criticism don't trigger them, because they are then completely sane and completely whole, and they can see, wait a second, like, I don't need to listen to this, I don't need to listen to you. And it's this processing of criticism that's the most interesting. So where do we look at? Through the avenue of emotional healing, through the avenue of surrender. Well, avenue of emotional healing is that we heal our emotions, we elevate ourselves, we move on, and we manifest our highest self when it comes to relationships, when it comes to our life, our career, everything. Now, surrender, if you do not know, is the process of emotional healing. It's what we do naturally, or I have done as your coach, as your friend, as your whatever you choose me to be, has systemized it. I've essentially systemized emotional healing. And what do? We surrender to the feelings that come up. We do not try and change them. We do not try and modify them. We do not try and make them or smaller or bigger or anything than what they are, because we are letting the cycle complete itself, right? Once that cycle has completed itself, we have learned from it, we are free from it, and more importantly, our body knows what to do with it. So when someone criticizes you, more specifically, since you are going to surrender to whatever comes up in the moment, you will then surrender to how that criticism feels to you. And that's the most important thing. I'm going to stress that 1,000 more times. You are going to surrender to how that criticism feels to you. How that criticism feels to you. The reactions to the criticism is more important than the criticism itself. They are blockages. They are things that stop us from hearing and experiencing them for what they actually are. So for example, some might criticize you. Your life is not the way it should be. You should be doing more, or you should be earning money. Fuck. If you're criticizing yourself, same shit. I should be doing better. How often do we criticize ourselves, right? First you deal with your criticism for yourself, then you deal with criticism for other people, or whatever method you wish to choose. It doesn't matter. All I ask is you to surrender, right? So what ends up happening? Someone criticizes you. We'll deal with external criticism and we'll also deal with internal criticism. Someone criticizes you. You do not try, you can try and change them. You can try and stop them. You can do whatever you want. Doesn't matter with them. All I'm asking is that at the same time of whatever you traditionally try and deal with their criticism, you surrender to how it feels. Just surrender to how it feels. Oh, they don't know me. Oh, I hate them. Oh, I hate it when they say that. Why can't they just believe in me? Wah. Whatever the emotions are, you surrender to that emotion, you let the cycle complete itself, and then you are fucking free. You are free from that thing. What you might notice, I often say it like this, life reorientates itself to suit our emotional needs. Now, obviously there are exceptions to this, because life has random shit that happens. We are currently living in the middle of a pandemic. None of us expected that. Shit happens. But outside of that, when we start within our sphere of influence, we'll start to realize actually how much of life, or the life that we can cognitively choose, reorientates it for who and what we are. So for example, someone gives you criticism, you then realize through your surrender, as you then process it and you learn from it and you grow from it and you are able to let it go and reveal to whatever it is that you are revealing, you can then realize, wait a second. Are they criticizing me or are they criticizing themselves? You will notice that most of the time when it comes to anger, people are, like, you can replace you, as in, like, say they're yelling at you, right? Now imagine an imaginary mirror and see if the stuff that they're saying is stuff that they have been saying to themselves for a while. You'll notice that most of the time it's true. I love seeing this process. I am like addicted to it. To see someone struggling with some issue with criticism for their whole fucking life, and then to see all of a sudden they are able to look at the person criticizing them and say, hey, that's not my drama, that's your drama. And when they see that, they are given a choice. Do they want to help them with that drama, or do they want to push it away? Now what happens is that when you are free from that drama, you can see the criticism for who and what it is. Now, internal criticism, I'm trying to rush this video because I did not charge my audio equipment and it is running out of battery. So if it does, I'm just gonna switch to my phone. But internal criticism is the same. You surrender to how the criticism feels. Eventually, those negative thoughts disappear because the legs in which the table stood on, they are gone. And so therefore the table goes. Now, when you eventually process that criticism, you will become more emotionally available for the answer, which means that you will become more emotionally available to realize, hey, wait a second, maybe I was criticizing myself because as a child, someone criticized me and I just thought that that's how it should be. Maybe you realize you're criticizing yourself just because you're insecure and that you realize you got nothing to be insecure about. The realizations that you have from the healing process generally is unique for you, unique for the situation you've been in, and unique for whatever life will fucking throw at you. So it's really interesting to see what realizations people get. Okay. My audio equipment's still going. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you do want more on this topic, please let me know in below. Please leave a like and comment anything you've learned from this video. Really helps me grow the channel, really helps me connect with you, really helps me know which direction I'm fucking going in because I am flying blind. And you know what? I am finally okay with that. So I'll talk to you soon. See you live on Triple J on the weekend. And I will give you kissies and give you lots of love. Bye.